Peace, everyone. Welcome to the Speaking for Profit Academy Informational. If you are here live, put hashtag live in the comments. If you are here on the replay, put hashtag replay. Today, we're going to talk about the application process for Speaking for Profit Academy. I'm going to answer a few of the questions that folks have sent me in my DMs. And I hope that this gives clarity for anyone watching it, even in the future, on what our expectations are and what we hope you get out of this amazing program. So I'm Evolve Benton, and I'm the founder of Speaking for Profit University. We have been around since 2020. We actually are one of those amazing businesses that started during the pandemic. And this space has changed a lot in the last few months. I had a major surgery at the end of the year, as many of you already know, and I want to thank you all for your prayers and your good energy and all of you sending amazing messages to me for my recovery. I want to thank everyone for sending gifts. I'm feeling almost 100%, which I'm thankful for. But what happened during that recovery and what is continuing to happen during this recovery process is understanding how I really want to support and advocate for speakers, especially marginalized speakers who aren't seen as experts, people who are trying to figure out, like, how do I get paid more for the years of experience that I've had, and folks who are dedicated to becoming better communicators. I think now more than ever, being a great communicator and being able to have conversations about who you are and what you do in the world and impacting the world with your voice is just so important. It's just such a historical time. And good evening. Glad you could make it. So I really want to say to you all that a lot has changed for me in the way that I want to show up and in the capacity that I have. So in the past, we have had the opportunity to open up the academy for the whole year. It's been something where you can join anytime, pretty much. And what we're doing right now is we're working with a cohort of particular speakers who we believe's messages will not only change the world, but will change the course of history. So it's important that you have a message that you want to build on, and it's also important that you want to make money, because this is laborious work, one, sharing your voice and sharing your story. But the other reason why is this is a business development program. So yes, we will focus on supporting you with becoming a better communicator, whether you want to host or facilitate or speak, or maybe you're an artist like I am, a poet, and you have a book that you want to get out there. Yes, we will support you at being better on the stage. But what we're really going to be supporting you with is your business acumen and how you show up in the world as a professional and as a CEO. And that is why we are only working with 20 speakers at a time, to make sure that this can be an intimate experience and that the people who are selected to be a part of this are serious about it. So if you're still interested in it, like after hearing that spill, I'm glad that you're here. And we'll continue to kind of go through what the program offers. We'll talk a little bit about how much it costs, what's the pricing, and what options we have there. And then I'm going to answer questions at the end. So if you have questions, please stick around. I'm definitely down to answer questions and be transparent. So this is new, but it's also old. The very first time we did Speaking for Profit Academy in 2020, we actually did a cohort. We had a cohort of, I believe, 15 speakers at that time, who were the first group of folks who went with me through the Wealthy Speaker framework. And I was putting it together as we went, right? I was doing training, I was doing coaching, and I nearly burnt out because it was a lot to hold. But folks have went on to do amazing things. And some of those folks I still work with to this day on their business development. And there are opportunities for us to continue our relationship after the academy. So we did cohorts and then we stopped, and I'm bringing it back because of data. And this is something that's so important for us as business owners. When I looked at the data and I seen the success stories of folks who had went through our programs, it was folks who had went through a cohort. And I think that when you are with a group of people and you're really able to establish that bond, not only do you go through it, but you end up doing business together. So also, when we looked at the data, the people who did go through a cohort ended up building on their economy together and doing work together, whether that was speaking engagements, hiring one another, working on partnerships, building out retreats, writing books together, so many projects. So I'm hoping that we will cultivate a group for this first cohort who will do that together. The last time we did something like this was a little bit different. It was called the Rich Speaker Society, and it was a group as well, and it was a cohort, but it was a lot quicker. It wasn't 90 days. And at the end of that experience, people got to meet me in Atlanta and we did some speaking engagements. And if you look here on this front of this page, that is Jackson speaking on the stage at Speaking for Profit Live, which was a dope event that we had here in Atlanta. So at the end of the academy, this time you will have an opportunity to speak and share your story. It probably will be a virtual stage, and then we do plan on doing an in-person event later on this year, and you'll be invited to that as well. So let's go through the page. This is literally the application page that you will go to, and I just want to go through it because I'm getting a few questions, and I just want to give people clarity on what they need. So this program is all about commanding the stage and the check. So if you're a person who's like, I just want to get paid, I don't want to get paid to speak, I'm just doing this as a passion project, I think that that's great. And this might not be the program for you. There's some amazing TEDx programs. One of my colleagues, Cesar Cervantes, has one, and it's a TEDx group. And you don't get paid for a TEDx talk. So I can introduce you to people who can help you just primarily work on the craft. But if you want to command the stage and the check, then this is going to be the space for you. We start the cohort February 23rd, 2026. So that's in a few weeks. And there are only 20 seats available. That's probably going to be updated because I did have a conversation with one of the amazing cohort members earlier today that wants to join. So most likely it'll be 19 seats. So we'll update that on the website soon. But this is your proven path to paid speaking gigs. And what we're going to build here is not just an opportunity for you to learn how to get paid once, but to build a system so that you can do it consistently. So 3 of the core aspects of this is you being able to position yourself and pitch like a pro. A lot of times what I find is that people don't have sales acumen. Like they're great at speaking, you might be great at sharing your story, but when it comes to having a conversation about why a company should bring you in, you're struggling to pitch like a professional. And one of those things that you need to understand and you will learn is it's really about your messaging and speaking to your marketplace. And that's why I always say we want to start with a place that you've already worked in, maybe in your 9 to 5 or your educational background, because you know the language. And if you're not speaking the language of that industry, then they're not going to want to bring you in. I'm doing a corporate training right now. And one of the aspects that I've been learning about, even when it comes to corporate environments, is that they want to hear more about outcomes than solutions. So we can talk about that depending on what industry you want to work with directly. So if you're a speaker, great, cool. But if you're a consultant as well, we can build this framework out for you. So that's the first thing. How do we position and pitch you like a pro? And maybe you already have a lot of like credibility, you have certifications, you have degrees, you might have written a book, but you haven't been able to position it in a way where people actually take you serious and want to bring you in. And that's our job, right? To support you in creating that brand and that image. So that'll be the first thing. The second thing is building on a consistent deal pipeline. So how do we consistently not only connect you with new people, but once you're connected with a new organization or decision maker, make it really easy for you to have a follow-up and a referral process so that you continually get opportunities. And then that also goes into thinking about like your pricing strategy. I have a client that I work with right now who realized that because of the type of consultation work that they do with companies and the high level, that it's a $30,000 offer, one, but that they only need a few of them a year to do in order for them to really reach their financial and their impactful goals. So for you, sometimes it's that you're not probably maybe not charging enough, or you might be overwhelming yourself with too many leads, which is I've done that before, reaching out to too many people, where you're not being customized enough, niched enough. So we can talk about what your pipeline looks like and how to build that out so that it's consistent. I'm so thankful because even though the main industry I was speaking in before was diversity, equity, and inclusion, and we all know what has happened to that industry, right? It's really shrunk down in the last year, but because of people that I've worked with years before, it's been a great opportunity to still be able to support in that way. Now I have a new offer that I'm excited to share with y'all later on this year that I'll be putting out to support with corporate trainings, but having the referral base is going to be so important for most of you. And then we want to create a lifestyle friendly speaking business. Like, this is not a space where it's like, I want you to burn out or you be in a position where you can't spend time with your family or do the things that are important to you. We're calling it easeful abundance. So we are going to challenge you to build out revenue goals that also think about your capacity and what you have capacity for. If you have small children, or if you're going through a PhD program, or if you're moving, or whatever might be happening in your life, we don't want your business to fall apart. So how can we set up some systems to make sure that you're thinking about that when you are saying yes to opportunities? And you will learn to also say no, because that's a big part of you building a lifestyle friendly speaking business. So those are the three things that we'll focus on. If you scroll down, we have some testimonials from past clients that we've worked with, which has been amazing. A little bit about me, which most of you probably know, but if you don't know, I'm Evolve Benton, founder of Course. I started off working in higher education. I actually was working at some of the top universities in the country, especially medical schools, UCSF. I think they're number 3 or number 4. I worked at UCLA and I was an administrator. So a lot of my earlier speaking was in higher education around diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I've worked with several startups, nonprofits, and corporations nationwide. I'm also a podcast host. I have 2 podcasts called one called Boy Meets Wellness, which is a wellness podcast that I have not actually put out new episodes for in quite a while, but I plan to this year. But it still gets listens every month, which is really, really cool. And then the Speaking for Profit podcast, where we talk about public speaking and communication and business development. In 2023, I left my 9 to 5 and focused on this business, relocated across the country. So I was living in California, moved to Georgia. We purchased our first property. I'm also a creative founder. So I wrote a book called Sir, Poetry Dedicated to Boyhood and Black Queer Love. And I also have a documentary called The Boy Doc. And I'm sharing all this with you because, yes, I want you to know I'm credible, but there also might be sides of me that you didn't know that you might be like, oh, I can relate to the artist side, or I can relate to working in higher education. I'm a human, right? This is not an AI robot. And I also have 3 degrees. So communications, clinical psychology, and creative writing. So done a few things. You can check that out on the page as well. And I will share with you how to get over to it, the link to it. So these are just some of the results that I've had and that we've done with our clients. And then we also have some other video testimonials. This is our amazing client. I say our because we do have a team, Chris Scott. And Chris has done some great work within speaking to particularly young Black men who want to enter engineering, and just is a great speaker. So he's talking about his experience securing a $5,000 speaking gig and flying first class. So check that video out. And then this is a breakdown of everything you will need to get booked. So I'll break that down for you a little bit. Let me see if there's any questions. Don't see any questions in the chat. If you have any, just put them. I'm glad that some of y'all are just here listening, probably taking your notes. Thank you for being here. So everything you need to get booked fast. So when you first get started, we will do a quick win sprint, which means like we'll support you in getting your branding up, your LinkedIn profile, your EPK, which is an electronic press kit, to two-part document that you can start to send out and pitch within the first 30 days. Every week, we're going to do a live coaching and teaching experience. So we'll decide as a cohort what days we'll be meeting, but it'll be 1 day a week. We'll do partially, it'll be training, then you'll have an opportunity to take a break. I always believe in ease. Bring y'all back together, meet with the cohort in breakout rooms, and then we can go through some Q&A and prepare for the next session. So it's a 90-day intensive to make sure that you don't just sit on the information. When we've done this before asynchronously and people have had their own individual roadmaps, they end up not completing tasks. And I'm hoping that this can support with some accountability. And then we're also going to give you assets that you can use. So we'll have ready-made templates for your messaging, scripts. You'll be getting access to the S4P CRM and also a pitch system that you can utilize. So all this is built in. We do use artificial intelligence in some of our programming, but it's really there to support you once you understand the foundational concept to get there a little bit quicker. So that is a little bit about what we'll be doing together. We also have a 90-day roadmap here, so you can see a little bit about like what happens each month as we're working together and what that breakdown is a lot like. Now, this is not our agenda. This is just a breakdown of what we're building on, but I want you to understand this is a holistic system. So instead of thinking like, okay, I'm going to spend a whole month clarifying my goals and my audience, no, we'll be working on a little bit of this throughout our time together, but we also want you to understand the roadmap and where you're going. So you can check this out. I'm not going to read all through it when you go onto the page. We also have a momentum guarantee. So if you're not booked and paid to speak in the first 60 days, we're going to give you an extra month of support and we'll do a deal desk session, which means you'll have a one-on-one session with me or me and another coach to really support and look at all the assets that you set up to give you direct one-on-one support on why it's not working. So we can look at your messaging, we can look at your speech, we can look at like your follow-up process, all of it to see so that we can support you in getting some opportunity. If you continue to scroll down on the page, you'll also see that there's like a calculator here. This is really helpful if you're wondering about your return on investment. So let's say your speaking fee, I usually will suggest clients that I'm working with that don't start lower than 3,000. That's kind of where I started off when I was getting started. So if you had $3,000 per speaking engagement, let's say you just got one, right? Then you would make 3,000, of course. But if you got four of those, you'll make 12,000. So you can kind of see how getting one opportunity can pay for the program itself, but also so you can start to think about what your revenue goals are. So play with that. I think it's a great aspect on the page for you to think about when you're thinking about your ROI and return on investment. This is for you if you've been paid to speak at least once and want to do it more consistently. A lot of people will tell me I have not been paid to speak before, but I want you all to think beyond traditional paid speaking. I want you to think if you've been asked to speak at a conference and you were getting paid for work, or you were asked to speak at work, or maybe you spoke when you were getting a degree. All these are paid opportunities, not necessarily monetized, but someone has came to you and said, hey, I want you to speak. You've been on the stage. If you've never been on the stage and you're still working on like getting past the fear of speaking, then this is probably not a program for you, but you can join our free community, which is the Profitable Speaker Circle. And that would be a great space for you. Just put the word profit in the comments if you're watching this and you're like, what's this? I want to know more about the Profitable Speaker Circle. Put it in there and we'll send you the link. If you have been paid to speak before, but you're like, it happens here and there. People will reach out to me, but you don't have a repeatable system, then this is for you. If you value coaching, community, and accountability, we want folks in this cohort who value building the cohort. So you have to be willing to show up on a weekly basis and you have to value the coaching and be coachable. I've worked with people before who don't want to take the advice or run the program, or like I like to say, run the play. And that just doesn't support. And you have to be accountable. So, which means if you don't do the things that you said you were going to do, we got to work through that and figure out like what's going on there. We're not therapists, but we definitely can be your business development strategist to figure out systems to help you get things done. And this is for you if you're ready to do the work and scale your speaking business. You got to be ready for it. So I've reached out to some of you who in the past were like, I'm not ready. And right now you're like, I am ready, or some of you are like, you're not. And I hope that this will help you understand which bucket you're in if you're trying to get clarity on that. This is not for you if you've never been paid to speak, as I've said before. We kind of talked about that. You want overnight results without action. We are not here to give you paid speaking opportunities. We're not a speakers agency. We're not a speakers bureau. We're literally teaching you to fish. We're not fishing for you. So you have to commit in order for it to happen. Perhaps you're unwilling to pitch or talk to decision makers. So if you have a lot of anxiety around putting yourself out there or reaching out to people, this program will help you move past that. You got to let that go. If you really want to be on stages and you know that your message is going to change the world, you have to commit to being uncomfortable. And one of those uncomfortable things is going to probably be reaching out to people instead of waiting for people to reach out to you, and dealing with rejection, which is a part of the process. So look at these and then you can kind of decide. So let's get into talking about the money, right? Because the money is always the fun part for me. What's the investment? To get started, we have a paid in full bonus, which gives you an opportunity to get 3 months access to our CRM and a one-on-one strategy call with me. On one-on-one calls, I've done some really great things. We call them build sessions with clients. So as you can see, this website is built out on Lovable AI. So I'm an AI consultant and strategist as well. So if you want to build out something on Lovable, we can support you with that in that hour. If you have an asynchronous product idea, we can come up with the launch plan for that. There's a lot we can do within the hour. Or maybe you just want to talk about pricing. So you'll get that one-on-one call, and then you'll also get 3 months access to the S4P CRM. CRM is a client relationship management system. So let's say you get a speaking opportunity, you go speak, and you get a bunch of emails from people who came to your talk. Your CRM would hold them so that you can continue to message and get in conversation with them. It does so much more, but I just want to let you know you get that as a part of it. So that's a part of the bonus when you pay in full the 3,500. If you wanted to break it into two payments, we can do that in-house as well. That would be two payments of $2,000. And for that, you don't get the paid in full bonus, but you still get a 14-day access to the S4P CRM, and you could decide if you want to keep it. And then if that doesn't work and you're like, you know what, Evolve, like I actually need as low as $300, $200 a month, we do have some financing departments and companies that we work with, and we can run an application to see what you qualify for to explore some financing. So we have that option as well. So I don't want you to say, oh, I'm not going to apply because the money is not available right now. There's other possibilities for you. But I do want to be transparent about pricing because I appreciate that when I am committing to being in a cohort or in a program, and I want you to know about it before you get on a call with me. So we do have a risk-free promise, which means we're confident in the value that we're going to give you and that you're going to get opportunities. So if you decide to join us and you, like I said, you do not get opportunity within 60 days, we'll give you an additional month of support and continue to support you until you get some opportunity. But you have to be running the program. We're not going to be doing that if you're not showing up for the calls, if you're not committing to the curriculum. So it's important that you commit. So the next step, let's say you're interested in the cohort. You're like, hey, Evolve, this was great. I got my questions answered, and I'll answer a few questions in a moment for folks in the chat. You're going to just click here. Well, let's go here first. The first thing that you're going to do is you're going to go to speakingforprofit.com, right? And I'll put this link into the chat for you. So that's www.speakingforprofit.com. Perfect space. Okay. So, and the 4 is a number. So speaking, the number 4, profit.com. And if you go over there, you're going to click on the top here at programs. When you click programs, you'll see our various ones we have, which are community, the cohort, and then VIP days. You're going to click join next cohort. And when you go over here to join the next cohort, you're going to see the page that I was just on. So let's say you're like, okay, cool. I want to apply. You click here to apply. And then it does have some FAQs for you if you have additional questions. And you're going to click here. You'll find a time to meet with me. Let's say you want to meet with me on the 29th. You'll click here. And then we have a few questions for you to answer before, and this is your application, before you can move forward to schedule the call. The call is 30 minutes, so it gives us an opportunity to talk about if you're a good fit. I'll have some questions for you. You'll have an opportunity to ask me questions as well. And we can talk about the financing side of it and all of that. I will let you know on the call whether or not you're accepted or not, and then we can move forward with your onboarding. So that is the process for you to do it. Everyone who gets on a call does not get accepted, but that does not mean anything about you. It's just about the cohort being a great fit. And we will have a wait list for our next cohort, which will happen at the end of this year. So let me look in the chat and see if there's any questions that we have. And then I have a few questions that people have asked me on the side that I'll answer as well. So, do you have to be US based? No, you do not have to be US based for this. We do have clients that we've worked with who've been living in Mexico, been living in Japan, across the globe. So you do not have to be in the US for this program. Great question. So another question I have that was not in the chat was around payment plan structure. So we do have a pay in-house payment plan. If you're in a position where you're like, I want to get on a call with you, but I'm just going to want to hold my spot because I need to arrange payment, then we do have it where you can put down a $500 deposit, hold your spot, and then you'll be required to make your payment in whatever we agree to, which could be a week or two. I met with someone earlier today and that was their circumstance. So we do that. So that question's answered. The other question I got was about TEDx talks. Do we support with that? We have training within our program that does talk about being supported with TED. And we also have a relationship with an amazing TEDx coach that we possibly will bring in during your cohort to do some professional development. So the answer is yes. If you're interested in getting on the TEDx stage, we have had clients who've been on before, which is really cool to see. So we can definitely support you with that as well. And let me see if there's any other questions that I got from folks. Okay. Someone asked me about like, I think there's a lot of disbelief when it comes to pricing, right? And I would love for you all to do your own research as well. Like, I think, yes, listen to me because I'm here and you trust me, but do your own research. You can look up how much the average public speaker gets paid, and how they're, how the payment happens. But someone that was asking, is it realistic for speakers to get paid $2,000 or $3,000? And the answer is yes, and even more if you have credibility and you have a brand. And the way that you would get paid through that is usually through a check, and that is usually a physical check, or if you want an electronic check. And we do have support within the program around contracts to make sure that you're paid on time, or penalties are set up if people don't pay you on time. And every industry is different. Some people, they have like a render 30 or render 60 days that they have to put into their account. So some people might not be able to pay you immediately, but maybe you can ask for a deposit. So there's so many different things we can do. But yes, it's realistic, but also do your research so that you can see what's out there. And that's typically how you are paid. Okay. Other questions that I've gotten before, and then I will let you go, is questions around time. We will meet together for anywhere between 90 minutes to 2 hours a week. This will be one meeting. Don't worry, we'll have some breaks in there. That's actually why it's a little bit longer. And we also want to give you all an opportunity to connect with one another. At the end of the program, we'll have like a graduation and a celebration for you. That event might be a little bit longer as well. And you'll probably be required outside of our time together to work on the curriculum anywhere between 2 to 4 hours a week, depending on your business and where it currently is at. So that is the answer as far as timing. And I think that's it. I think that's it, y'all. So I'm gonna let y'all go. And I want to share one more thing with you before I head out. So for folks who are like, the academy sounds great, but I just want to get to know you more. You might be watching on my YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, please like, please subscribe. I appreciate you watching. If you're watching on LinkedIn, thank you so much. Facebook, that's where we're streaming this right now. But maybe you just want to get to know me. You want to get to know my community a little bit better and the ways that I work with folks. I have a community called the Profitable Speaker Circle that you can join today if you would like to. I will put the link to that up so that you can get access to it. And this is for folks who are just getting started or folks who are just looking to scale through opportunity. And what I mean by that is some people might have a business, but they want to get access to the leads that we put in the group. So every day we put a speaking opportunity in the community within our 365 course so that you can apply for it. It might be a TED Talk, might be a conference. We just are doing research on a daily basis. So we'll share that with you. So that's in this community. The other thing that's in the community as well is an opportunity to meet with me once a month if you're a premium member, and then also some professional development throughout the year. So we'll have an expert. We're also going to be doing some book clubs. So it's a really cool space. We do a monthly Q&A. So if you need additional support and you just want to join something today and you want to think a little bit more about the academy and you're not in this community, it would be a great space for you to join. So head over to school.com/wealthy speaker, and that will give you access to the community. It is free. We do have some memberships that you can upgrade to if you need additional support. And that is that, y'all. I appreciate y'all. This is the first live back in 2026. So it feels good to be live, to be here, and to be in this energy. And I would love for you to share this with someone else who you think might need some support in leveraging their voice and wants to be a part of history, which I'm really excited about. So have a great evening. Thank y'all so much for being here. And until next time, peace.